Okay, I know I just gave you all cake. Can I get everyone to gather back at the front? You can have a second piece. If I can get everyone to come back to the front and grab a seat. If you already finished your cake, you can have another. There's more. How are you? Nice to see you. Thanks for coming. How's the cake? Good? I'll have a piece later, right before bed. I think that'll be a good choice.
And then you'll sleep like, no.
Okay, one side of the room is back. The other side is not. Well, Peter is. If you're Peter's friend, come sit with him.
Maybe it's something you said. What did you say to everyone? Do you want to say that into the mic?
This was a bad idea.
Ladies and gentlemen, cake time is over. Can we gather back here? Please take your seats. Let's go. It didn't work. Hello. Jesus is calling you. Still alone on this side.
Well, maybe Jean's going to join you. Chad's here, Shannon's here. You have a couple other people on your side. Okay. We're going to get started in 10 seconds.
It sounds like a plane or something. What's about to happen? What's going on? Yeah, all of a sudden it was like.
Okay, I think we're going to get started with the World Accord presentation. I ask if you're not going to join at the front, just we'll need to hear the video that will be played soon. So stay tuned and listen in. All right, so we're here to celebrate 45 years. Pretty amazing. The last celebration we had was for our 40th anniversary, and that was peak of the pandemic. So that was, I guess it started in March 2020, and it was all virtual. So a lot of you were celebrating with us for our 40th virtually and shared a lot of messages and videos on YouTube. So it's really nice to be celebrating here with you 5 years later in person. So thank you for coming to our presentation tonight, and thanks to some of you who've also celebrated with us at reunions over the summer. Some of you have celebrated with us in Ottawa at our anniversary celebration and in Kitchener at our anniversary celebration. So thank you for spending the summer celebrating this milestone with us. I'm going to get started because we were founded in 1980. Some of you have participated in some 80s trivia over the summer, but I wanted to make sure that we're all here in the room, so I have some trivia questions. So the first question is, what was the original name of World Accord? Vonda, do you have the answer?
Canadian Saints Outreach.
Canadian Saints Outreach. And we were founded by the Community of Christ. So very suitable name for an organization founded by the Community of Christ. We then changed our name again in 1990. So 10 years later, we changed the name again. Does anyone know what we changed our name to for the second time? That's why we changed it so quickly. Could you?
We had a second mic. I believe it's Canadians for Sustainable Opportunity and Development.
You're absolutely right. Can you say it one more time?
Canadians for Sustainable Opportunity and Development.
Canadians for Sustainable Opportunity and Development. I don't know why we changed that. It's so short. It really is a mystery. So we then changed our name finally for the final time to World Accord. And we're not changing it again anytime soon. We did think about it at our strategic planning meeting, and we thought we better not. It's a lot of work. Maybe our logo, but name, no. Okay, one more question for you. Who championed the World Accord school builds? Okay, that was an easy one. And just so you know, even though the school builds are not happening anymore, the Al Wygoods family has now started the Al Wygoods Scholarship Fund. So there's still a lot of funding going into that scholarship fund, and hundreds of kids that are going to those schools that Al built are getting scholarships to go to elementary and high school. So the legacy is living on. The other night we had Jim Wygood at our anniversary celebration, and he shared a few memories about his dad, and also shared about the legacy with the scholarships. And that covers not just the money to go to school, but also books, uniforms, whatever kids need to go to school. So communities there, they know Al, they remember Al, and they're excited to see that something is still happening in memory of Al. So if you want to support that when you're donating to World Accord, all you need to do is specify that you want your donation to go to the Al Wygoods Memorial Fund, okay? So we talk about impact. So 45 years of impact, it's a lot. A lot can happen in 45 years. We have some numbers that are on paper that we measure, because a lot of our funders require us to measure impact in numbers. And I want to say that, while we have these numbers, so 200 communities that we've partnered with over 45 years, more than 5,000 women empowered, more than 300 local and small and medium-sized businesses that have been started. But those are just like the direct numbers. When you think about the indirect impact of those numbers, so our project in Nepal, for example, 900 women were involved with that project over a 5-year period. So those 900 women, some of them have 3 or 4 family members, maybe more. So that's, times that by 3 or 4. Those women also have friends in the community. So times that again by 3 or 4. So the impact is more like in the hundreds of thousands. But if we have to report on a report, these are the numbers, but it's very far reaching, the impact. And we see changes happening in communities. We can see that people that are supported through the work of World Accord and through your support are having to make fewer, tougher decisions on a daily basis about their livelihood and survival. So that's a good sign, especially considering the state of the world today and the tough decisions that many of us have to make even here. So if we can make somebody's life a little bit easier, that's what we want to do. So now I wanted to share with you a video from our partners. So when we, told our partners it's our 45th anniversary, we said if you want to share something, if you have some words that you'd like to say to folks in Canada, send us a video. So they all sent us a video of varying sound qualities. And we put them all together and we have that in a video. Some of you have seen this video already, so bear with me, but it's a fun video to watch. So I'll show that video and then I'm going to pass it over to Isabel after that. And Troy, do I just press? I think there should be sound and a video, but we'll give it a second and see if it. Is it playing for you on your screen, Troy?
Yeah, 1 second.
And while we're waiting, I just want to give a shout out to Troy. I've been at almost all of the reunions this summer, both conferences, online presentations, and he's just been amazing. And I don't think that we could do things like this without Troy. So
Antes,
just wanted to give a shout out.
dando una felicitación a todos mis compañeros de allá de Guaracor, que los recuerdo mucho, cuando entró a trabajar aquí don Terry y don Al, y bueno, hicimos unos proyectos, hicimos más que todo unas supervisiones, cuando teníamos la necesidad prioritaria dentro de un proyecto de acueducto de agua, porque nosotros no teníamos agua aquí en esta comunidad del Encinal. Y esta comunidad del Encinal primero pertenecía más que todo al municipio de San Pedro Zacapa, pues después ya hicimos un cambio de domicilios y pasamos al municipio de Las Vegas, somos de Las Vegas hoy. Pero sí, quiero decirles, compañeros, que yo me siento tan agradecido porque yo me capacité a nivel de Guaracor, compañero de Guaracor, en parte de agricultura, enseñándole a mis gentes en las comunidades aledañas que yo trabajo.
Bueno, el primer punto dijo gracias a la institución que nos ayudó bastante, e incluso a mí me ayudó bastante, porque como bien le comentaba sobre un macrotúnel, siempre lo había escuchado, pero nunca me imaginé tenerlo enfrente, tener un cultivo adentro y cuidar. Sobre el tinaco igual, ahí sí que fue un beneficio más grande, porque con nosotros que se han dado solo eran toneles. Y ahorita fue un tinaco, es grande, ahí con lo que es el baño abonero también me ayuda bastante con el espacio que tengo, que no es mucho. El espacio que tengo es de 14 por 10, que decía, no es mucho. Entonces me va a ayudar bastante con esto. Con el agua también, casi agua de chorro no tengo, o de grifo que se diga, porque lo que yo tengo es agua de pozo, que viene del suelo. Sería eso. Y sí que agradecerles bastante y que siguen apoyándonos como grupo de mujeres y como vamos va haciendo eso.
Muy bien.
A todas las personas que apoyan estos bonitos programas, la verdad para nosotros como beneficiarios es muy importante que sigan apoyando, pues por medio de estos programas se benefician muchas personas así como yo y nos dejan una gran experiencia, el conocimiento que es muy importante para poder ingresarnos al ámbito laboral. Agradecemos a todos, la verdad, muchísimas gracias a todos. Que el Señor les bendiga. Gracias por colaborar. Bendiciones para todos. Gracias.
Mi Hernández, aquí soy, pues, soy de la comunidad del Encinar, Las Vegas, y gracias a Dios, pues, he tenido la oportunidad, pues, de ser beneficiada por parte de Guaracor. Gracias a Guaracor porque me ha apoyado en lo que es mi vivienda. En primer lugar, pues soy beneficiada de la vivienda y también he logrado también a capacitarme con lo que es la agricultura, y también hemos logrado a aprender mucho por parte de la capacitación a lo que es la agroecología, lo que es también lo que es el género también hemos aprendido a muchos. Nos ha ayudado en todo, ¿verdad? Porque en mi caso soy también dentro del grupo, soy secretaria del grupo social, también soy secretaria de la asociación.
Sí. Buenos días a todos. Yo me llamo Maritza y estoy representando a la institución y estamos muy agradecidos. Estoy con las mujeres, nosotros nos llamamos Metzani y estamos muy agradecidas con ustedes. Ahorita ya estamos viendo las cosechas, ya tenemos tomate, chile y tenemos flores. Ya están, los tomates ya están listos y estamos muy agradecidos porque ya no es necesario ir a la tienda a comprar, a gastar, solo venimos a cortar y ya lo estamos cosechando y estamos muy agradecidos. Y queremos agradecer entre todas las mujeres, dar las gracias por su apoyo y esperamos que vamos a seguir continuando con su apoyo y gracias.
Me siento orgullosa porque quizás vivimos en un mundo donde a las mujeres nos tienen como de menos, ¿verdad? Y piensan que quizás uno no puede utilizar un martillo o algo, pero creo que no, creo que tenemos las mismas oportunidades como los hombres y podemos luchar.
नमस्कार ओरेकरलाई 45 एनिभर्सरीको धेरै धेरै शुभकामना र आजसम्म हामीलाई सहयोग गरिदिनु भएकोमा
ayuda que nos está dando con las becas y así también a Socialario, ¿verdad? Que es un medio para nosotros y les agradezco porque el fondo que los dan, ¿verdad? Lo utilizamos para poder comprar cuadernos, mochilas, uniforme. Y les agradezco porque en realidad ellos necesitan, porque son huérfanos de padre. Sí, entonces. ¿Es la abuela? Sí, yo soy la abuela. ¿Usted se está criando? Sí. Sí, tengo 8 años de tener ahí. Yo, gracias a Dios, pues ahí estamos siempre. ¿Es pequeñita? Sí, ella tenía 2 años.
Buenos días, José Ponce. Buenos días, gracias por estar aquí con nosotros, los del grupo de mujeres y Adikutsani. Estamos muy agradecidos por todo lo que Canadá está haciendo aquí en este cantón o esta comunidad. Estamos muy agradecidos, ¿verdad? Porque se está viendo todos los frutos de los esfuerzos que se ha hecho. Las mujeres están muy contentas con el apoyo de Canadá hacia el producto de tomate y también el producto de chile. Tenemos una parte acá atrás donde está el chile y también otro producto que estamos esperando, la cosecha de flores. Les agradecemos todo lo que es la institución de Canadá por el apoyo hacia nuestra comunidad, y las mujeres están muy contentas porque han visto el beneficio de todos los esfuerzos que ellas han hecho, así de que muchísimas gracias por el...
Es una satisfacción muy hermosa que he sentido, ¿verdad? Porque muchas veces quizás hasta yo misma quizás pensé, ¿verdad? Soy mujer y que ese proyecto quizás no se da para las mujeres también, pero gracias a Dios, ¿verdad? Nos dijeron que no había ningún inconveniente y que podríamos participar, y me parece una buena oportunidad, ¿verdad? Para todas las mujeres, porque sabemos que todos somos iguales, ¿verdad? Ante Dios y los hombres, ¿verdad? Todos somos iguales, y me parece muy bien, ¿verdad? Que también, ¿verdad? Estén incluyendo a mujeres a aprender nuevas cosas, ¿verdad? Porque sabemos que estos proyectos nos pueden ayudar a nosotros en el día en el futuro, se puede decir, que nosotros podamos también, ¿verdad? Poner nuestro propio negocio, ¿verdad?
Cántale a mi pueblo, vamos con plena intención, el comercio ingeniería broma, algo que es la solución. Porque el pueblo campesino llama la vegetación, porque las plantas ayudan y nos dan la curación. Y las familias se enferman, acudimos a luchar, buscar conchas de raíces y quitarle el malestar. Estamos sin dinero para ir donde al doctor.
To hear directly from our partners and to see that, they've got tomatoes, they have chilies, they have microtunnels, they have chickens, they have water, and it's just to see people thriving is really amazing. And then some of you in this room may have even seen that band in person. Chad, I don't- maybe you have, but yeah, it's just it warmed our heart to receive these videos from our partners, and I'm happy to share it with you. I know the subtitles were quite small for this screen. It is on our YouTube channel, so if you want to have a better look at the video and hear what people were saying, feel free to go to our channel to watch it. So yeah, we're 45, and some of you have been around for a good chunk of that time. So I invite you over the weekend, while I won't be here, but to talk amongst each other about what are some of your favorite memories of World Accord? What keeps you tethered to World Accord? What do you want to do more for World Accord? How do you want to stay involved with World Accord? I hear so many memories and so many stories. And I'd always, when I hear stories about the builds and the site visits, it always blows my mind the level of detail that people remember about their trips. And it never has anything to do with putting a brick on the mortar. It's always about the relationships that were formed while people were on these trips, and the people that they met, and the bonds that they created on these trips. So yeah, so please, and if you want to share with me too after this, an interesting story that you have about World Accord, I would welcome that as well. So yeah, I mean, 45 years, a lot of amazing things have happened, but it's also a bit of a scary year for us because it's a very tough year financially. I would say it's one of the toughest years in our history. It's not the first time that we've been in a situation where we thought, oh boy, what are we going to do next? We have been there before, but it doesn't get any easier. Something usually saves the day, but there's always that worry in the back of our head of, is something going to save the day this time? And so what has happened over the years is we had world hunger funding from the Community of Christ, from the World Church, I believe it came from. That stopped in 2018. And then in 2019, in 2020, we received a gift from somebody's will which was very generous, and it actually kept us going for a couple more years. So if that doesn't speak to the how important it is to leave a gift in your will for World Accord, that really got us through some difficult times. And then after those couple of years, we ended up getting government funding from Global Affairs Canada for 5 years. So that started in 2020. It ended in December 2024. So once that funding came to an end, right now with the state of the way things are happening with the Canadian government and globally, I don't think that women's empowerment is top of mind right now. So I don't know if, government funding is in our immediate future. It's definitely not something that we can rely on at this moment in time. And Isabel's going to tell you more about what kind of opportunities are available to us. But it is a difficult time for us. But we're not. Don't worry, World Accord's not going to close. We're still going to exist. If we don't find more funding in the next few years, more core funding, basically we would have to scale back a bit. So we're not going to close our doors, but we might look a little bit different than we do right now. So that's just the reality of it. I'm hopeful that we won't have to do that. We have a lot of really interesting things in the pipeline. A lot of you in this room are really coming through for us right now. A lot of congregations are coming through for us right now and making some very, very generous donations to get us through this rough patch. So thank you for all of what you're doing to get us through this tough time. We really appreciate it. And in this difficult time, a lot of you have already heard about this campaign, the 45 through 4 to 5. So what we're trying to do between the start of reunions and the end of conference, very soon, is raise $45,000 in Canada East and Canada West for a combined total of $90,000. I think we're probably, I have to do some reports because we've had a busy few days of fundraising, but I think we're probably close to 60K. So we're getting there. We are getting there. I think we're going to extend the deadline to Thanksgiving, just to give folks a little bit more time after conference to reflect and decide what's an appropriate amount for you to give. And then we're going to release our annual report on Thanksgiving weekend as well. So, along with a dry report, we want to have something exciting to share as well. So if you can help get us closer to this goal, the goal isn't necessarily for you yourself to say, I have to give more money. I've already given as much as I can. The goal is for you to try and introduce us to new connections, new companies, new foundations that you might know, friends that you might know that might be interested in giving to World Accord. So an example, Gay Lee Foods, very random. You might see their name at the grocery store from time to time. They're quite a big company in Ontario, and they like to fund small agroecology projects in Africa. So there's a very real chance that they may give us 15,000, which 15,000, not a lot, but if we got 10 of those, we'd be doing pretty good. So, if you know somebody who works somewhere like Gay Lee Foods or works at a farm or a corporation or a company that is interested in corporate social giving, let me know. And if you're not comfortable passing over the contact information to me, that's okay. You can just let me know. I'll send you some information about World Accord, and you can share it with your contact. And if they're interested and want to learn more, then you can connect them with me. So it doesn't have to be super scary. So that's our 4 to 5 campaign. And at this point, I know it's we have 10 minutes. So I'm going to pass it over to Isabel for the rest. So Isabel Hachette is our programs manager. She is going to talk to you a little bit about who we fund, what our approach is, and what kind of things are coming through the pipeline for World Accord. So she's also celebrating her 10-year anniversary this month. So she has right now she has the institutional memory of World Accord. So Isabel, I'll pass it over to you.
Okay, good evening. So So at World Accord, as you see on the slide, we focus mostly on sustainable development and agriculture. And all our partners are doing, sustainable agriculture with a focus on agroecology, agroforestry. So you, Asocialayo or Asuviquiche in Guatemala. And so with the climate crisis also, it's talking about resilience with food, with seeds that are locally, that are local, like Asocialayo, what they do, and also women's empowerment, which is a very big focus, because as we know, communities they become more sustainable as women become more empowered. And the work that is done to achieve this is also done with men and boys, because it has to be community-led. So for example, now Asocialayo in Honduras also, they're working on women's empowerment, but they're also looking at masculinity, because it is a very patriarchal society. And so they're also looking at good models for masculinity. And so trying out new things like that and looking at new opportunities, especially as we know, all our human rights are going downwards, like, I mean, here, out there, and anywhere. So, I mean, we're going backwards in many ways. So, so we're trying to work on that, and food security. It's the focus, and through food security, we are trying to attain the other goals with WPD also in Nepal, Women for Peace and Democracy. So we fund 5 organizations. 3 are in Central America, 1 is in Nepal, and 1 is in Ethiopia. So here we have ABDA. They work in Afar. Afar is a region in Ethiopia, close to a bit Djibouti. And I was lucky to go there this April. And it is a project which focuses on empowering 50 households, women. 25 are horticulturalists or rely on agriculture. And they were pastoralists, which means that they integrate animals into their agriculture, but they were also nomads. And nomads here as well in the north, our native populations, are becoming more and more sedentary, or have to, because of the climate crisis. So this community now relies on water, and there's a lake called Awash. I don't know if you've heard of Lucy, our ancestor, the 6 million Lucy ancestors of ours. She lives in Afar. So anyways, and so we work with these 25 women who are horticulturalists, and the idea is that they will sell their products to 25 women who are in the market. So it's a bit of a holistic way of looking at it, and they're empowered through also how to regenerate the soil, because it's in an area where there's no water. When I went there in April of this year, it had not rained since September 2024. So when it does rain, it really pours down, and because of the erosion, and you can't keep the water. So the issue of water and lack of is very important in all the countries, like Ethiopia, as well as Guatemala and Honduras. So that's ABDA. Then we have Asuviquiche. Asuviquiche works in Guatemala. They are working with the Maya Quiche women in Guatemala. Quiche is an area. And they work to empower the women. And they also work with the macrotinals. So they do drip irrigation because of the problem with water. They're into drip irrigation, doing tomatoes, cultivating broccoli. And we saw in the video how the women were quite happy because they have macro tunnels now. With the irrigation, they can cultivate all these legumes and fruits, and they don't have to go to the market. They can buy other things that they may need. Women for Peace and Democracy in Nepal. We've been a long-term partner, and it's actually World Accord that created or worked with Shoba for her to create WPD with Derry Fielder and David Barth, who helped to create WPD, and it is an NGO that is thriving. It's a very strong partner. We finished a project with them that was funded through Global Affairs Canada, GAC. It was called Renew, and it was to empower 900 women and girls in agriculture, in social aspect, as well as in human rights. And through that, 2 cooperatives were created in 2 different locations of Nepal, Makwanpur and Nuwakot. And yes. And we have Asocialayo, who is in Honduras. And Asocialayo is the association of CIALES. CIALES are local agricultural investigative communities where that means that they're into food sovereignty. So it's agroecology, but food sovereignty, preserving the seeds, traditional seeds of maize, corn and beans. And these CIALES are led by smallholder farmers who become researchers and try out with their pilot tests, try out different seeds who are able to withstand the impacts of the climate crisis. And so this is a CIAL, and so here it's the association of these CIALES, Asocialayo. And then we have at CASMIS, a long-term partner of World Accord in El Salvador. And it's they work with about 20 direct farmers and about 120 indirect. And they are doing a lot of, a bit like, Asocialayo, CIALES, preserving agriculture, sustainable agriculture. And also trying to provide microcredits to their members. So now I can talk to you about what we're doing now. Like, as you know, the world is the way it is, and there is no funding. I mean, institutional funding, donor funding from GAC, Global Affairs Canada, USAID. I don't know if you've heard USAID or know about USAID, but they've been totally dismantled. Do you know USAID or you know a bit? Well, okay. And so now there is no funding, and in the next budget there will be 0 funding, unless, well, yeah, there'll be 0 funding. So World Accord, what we're going to do, and it's totally something that we have never embarked on, is we're going to try to sit and analyze where we are right now in the international development sector. It is very morose and very, very dark. Many, you know, some NGOs are dying or sunsetting. They're actually dying, but, and some are merging. Some of our colleagues are losing their jobs. So, and it's become a very competitive environment. No, everybody is scared to lose their job. No one wants to share any ideas, any resources. And what we're going to do at World Accord is we're going to go exactly back, I mean, contradictory to this wave. We are sitting down and we are going to submit 2 proposals where we're not the lead, but it's a great opportunity. One is with the International Development Research Council, it's IDRC, and it's a partner in Ontario called Impact On. And what they're doing, they regroup, they include cooperatives and social entrepreneurship. And this call is for creating links between indigenous communities from the global north to the global south. And as you know, World Accord, yet we don't have yet Canadian partners. We work internationally. Impact On is working with a native cooperative called ICE, not ICE in the States, ICE Canada. And so they are doing social entrepreneurship with native communities in Northern Ontario. So we're doing a consortium with them where we're going to bring Asuvikiche, and they are going to work with this ICE native community they do a lot of social entrepreneurship and look at 2 aspects. What is good governance and what are economical development models that really contribute to alleviate poverty and empower native communities from the global south and the global north. And to do this, we also have, at World Accord, we are a unique NGO because we have an advisory committee that comprises of 2 professors from the region of Kitchener-Waterloo. And one of them is a professor at Wilfrid Laurier. And she is she works with on Native issues, and she's going to bring the truth and reconciliation component to this project. So we're going to try to see how can we also include that and share it with the Global South, or how does it make sense? So that's like a research as well as practitioner, Global South, Global North. So that's one project that we're submitting next week. And this week, we are submitting a project with OCIC, which is Ontario Council for International Cooperation, and WPD, who are leads. And it is to look at knowledge sharing with other countries in the Indo-Pacific region. And to do that, as you know, in Nepal, there were demonstrations last week with 70 somewhat students died. And so when that happened, we were going, should we continue to do it? And we decided to go ahead and to do a research and look at other countries where this has happened, such as Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, and look at good governance, as well as how to strengthen civil society organizations, not only in Indo-Pacific, but here, and how to create awareness amongst the Canadian citizens, so this public engagement aspect. And we also have one other initiative with EFO, with the Egg Farmers of Ontario. They were involved in our Project Renew in Nepal. And now they're going to go and try to see what is possible to do in Honduras and El Salvador. In Honduras, it could be like using the Ciales model and to do eggs. It's the layer eggs. It's not the meat eggs, layer eggs. And to see also how to, is it possible to do do the restaurants and do different various income generating activities, so not all the smallholder farmers have this laying eggs project, because then it's useless. I mean, everybody will do the same and it's quite hard, but if you can vary the activities, it becomes more interesting, and there could be an opportunity where it becomes better for the whole community. So yeah, so that's about, it's very new for us, because it's all about thinking, analyzing where we're going and working together instead of doing what many organizations are doing. But I truly believe that those organizations that don't transform themselves are those that will die. Like I can see already, you need to transform, learn how to do decolonization, how to do community-led development. The international development sector will never be the way it was. So, and there we go, community-led development, and they create, they tell us, and we learn with them. So that's it.
Thank you, Isabel. Question? Oh, yeah. Isabel, do you want to talk more about our work in Honduras?
So in Honduras, we're continuing with the Ciales. It's the same. So the Ciales are becoming stronger and stronger. They're also now, continuing to do the silos. And there's going to be the egg project. That's a new thing, like a new initiative. So it's, what would you like to know? Like, oh, no building like that. It's the learning, there are scholarships funds. I know that some people still go to Honduras, like Doug, to help a hand, give a hand, but there's no building construction like that.
However, that's a great segue, actually. World Accord has launched Accord Adventures. So this is a new initiative that we have. It's not a build. It's more of a learning trip. And the first trip is going to take place August next year in Honduras. So folks will have a chance to go back to Honduras or go to Honduras for the first time to meet our partner, Asocialayo. So we're super excited to launch this because we've heard from a lot of people that they really miss the builds. They miss being able to connect with our partners. They miss seeing the impact that is made by World Accord firsthand. So this is an opportunity to go on a 10-day journey, to immerse yourself in Honduras, see what our partners are all about, learn about community-led development, also see what a beautiful place Honduras is. There's certainly going to be some sightseeing on the trip. There's going to be 1 or 2 days of volunteering in the local community as well. So, the goal is obviously that it makes you a World Accord advocate, as it has done for so many people before. There is a fundraising component to the trip. So in addition to your base level expenses, there is a $5,000 fundraising goal. So that $5,000 is used to support our partner, Asocialayo, in Honduras. I know $5,000 seems like a lot of money. It is a lot of money. But we are offering the opportunity for people to raise $2,500 before the trip, and then $2,500 within a year after returning from the trip, because we do recognize that sometimes stories help to raise funds. So if you have a story to tell about your journey, it might propel people to want to support that. All those donations that you get, that $5,000, is tax receivable as well. So anyone supporting that for you would get a tax receipt. We'll keep track of your fundraising. And then we also have, I'm a fundraiser. We have another fundraiser on our team. We're here to support you in your fundraising goals. I've heard some people been thinking out of the box and saying, maybe like one of the congregations said, I think we'd like to fund someone from our congregation to go. And so maybe we could gather that $5,000 as a congregation for one of the youth to go. So that there's a lot of different options. I've heard people say it would make a good graduation gift for a youth and their family that everyone could chip in towards. So there's a lot of different options, but we're here to support you. So if you really want to go on the trip, but $5,000 is a barrier, do let me know. There also may be some bursaries available. There happens to be a lot of people in the community of Christ that are passionate about youth involvement and want youth to be able to go on these types of things. So please don't let that be a barrier. Just let us know if you're interested in going. The applications, you can apply directly on our website. So if you go to our website, and I have postcards on the table as well. They have a QR code on the back that takes you directly to the application to apply. So I would encourage you to apply sooner rather than later, but the deadline is February 2026 to apply, so that we know and can start planning the travel accommodations and whatnot. It'll be 8 to 12 people that are going to go on the first trip, and we're reserving 2 spots for youth between 18 to 30. So the first trip will be in Honduras. The goal is to kind of go to a different partner every year, but the goal is to have this be an annual thing that we do. So welcome to Accord Adventures, our new chapter. So that's pretty much all we have to discuss tonight. I would share more information, but I've pretty much already said it all, and it's 9:09, so I'm 9 minutes over my time, and I think there's still more cake, so we want to eat the rest of it so that we don't waste it. So thank you everyone for tuning in, and yeah, we'll be in this area, so if you have more questions or you want to talk to me or Isabel's such a great resource. Isabel's like the reason that we have all of these different partnerships, since she started at World Accord. That's her passion, is partnership. So she just reaches out to everybody and makes connections, and everybody in the sector knows us. Maybe all of Canada doesn't know us, but everyone in the NGO sector knows us because of Isabel. So yeah, thanks everyone, and I'll pass it over to you, Vonda.
Thank you, Kristin. This has been very informative. I've heard this before, but each time I hear it, I'm hearing different aspects. There is still cake back there. That's the end of our activities for this evening. Breakfast is at what time, Melissa? 8 o'clock. So breakfast is here at 8 o'clock. It's a full breakfast. And have a good evening, a good sleep.